Hey everybody, Miss McCarthy here from McCarthyMathAcademy.com, and today I want to walk you through the following benchmark for my Taking on the B.E.S.T membership plan. The benchmark that we're going to be looking at is MA.4.NSO.1.1. We're going to walk through the bronze, the silver, and the gold resources, and you're definitely going to want to stick around to when I talk about the gold resources because I've just dropped in some new video lessons and printables that you're definitely going to want to check out. Okay. All right, let's get to it and let me show you what this benchmark looks like. All right, so we are inside of the members area for Taking on the B.E.S.T, and we're going to be exploring a 4th grade benchmark. So I'll select 4th grade. We're looking at NSO and 1.1, which is covering the following skill, which is 10 times greater or less. So let's open up that one. And the first page that opens up are your bronze resources right here. The bronze resources contain your video lessons and your printable student guides. So you can see for this one, we have 1, 2, 3 video lessons when we're taking a look. We also have some math music videos right here, the place value song that we will get to. And if you keep on scrolling, you'll see where you can start looking at your silver or your gold resources, which we will talk about in just a second. All right, back up to the bronze resources. So let's go ahead and explore what these video lessons look like. So you can see here, the very first resource available is the video lesson that says foundational skills or place value. And if you're looking over here at the printable that you have, you see that we're going to be talking about the place value and the value of digits. So let's just take a sneak peek into one of the videos. Now, if we follow the same pattern as before, we had the ones, tens, hundreds, and now we have the 1000s because it's in the thousands. Okay, so I'm going to pause right there because now I want you to see that we have vocabulary that we're talking about, like digits. We're talking about the ones period over here and the thousands period. We're showing that commas separate each period. There's so much marking up and annotations happening inside of these video lessons. And the students will be encouraged to stop, take notes, make sure that they have the same thing copied onto their version. So it's great for note taking. Now, this particular video lesson is to get everybody ready for what's coming. We want to make sure that they understand the different places and the values of digits going from the ones place to the 100,000s place and kind of beyond there. But the real focus, the real target that's inside of this benchmark is 10 times greater or less. So our next video is talking about 10 times greater. And you can see the printable right over here. Okay, we've got problems like write a number that has the digit 5 in a place that is 10 times greater than the digit 5 and the number 47,513. We've got place value charts, all kinds of things. And if we pop into the video lesson, let's see, write a number that has the digit 1 in a place that is 10 times greater than the digit 1 in the number that we have, which is 47,513. So now let's go and identify the 1 right here. The 1 is in which place? The tens place. If we want to make that 1 10 times greater, we need to move it from the tens place to the hundreds place. We need to go right here. So let's put our 1 right there in the hundreds place, and now our digit 1 has a value that is 10 times greater. And we can just, again, I'm just going to use some of these numbers to plug it in. So how about 47,153? All that matters is that our 1 is in a place that is 10 times greater. Perfect. Now, obviously we've talked about 10 times greater. It's time to focus on 10 times less. So similar kind of thing. Let's zoom into the printable guide. And we are seeing that we're really looking at 1/10 of, which is 10 times less as well. So let's pop into that video lesson and see what's going on. So we need our 1 to go in the 10,000s place right there. And now we can write any number that we want to. So how about 210,539? As long as our 1 is in that 10,000s place, we have written a number that has the digit 1 in a place that is 1/10 of its original number. Okay, so again, look at all the marking up. Not only are we talking about 1/10 of, we're talking about this is also divided by 10, also 10 times less. So all of those words, all of the ways that students need to be hearing these things to really master this skill, you'll find in the video. Okay, so that is the bronze section, your video lessons and your student guides. When you scroll down, you'll also see for this particular benchmark a math music video called the Place Value Song. And this song is all about learning the places, the names of the places, and the values of digits and words like digits. So I'm going to go ahead and just press play so you can hear part of it.
I see you dancing on the decimal, let's take it to the left. Ones, tens, hundreds, a comma splits the periods. 1,000s, 10,000s, 100,000s, comma. Soon you'll learn to follow the pattern. Keep it growing, millions, billions, trillions. Or back it up to the decimal and take it to the right now. Tenths, hundreds, thousands.
So that's a little sneak peek into that place value song. It's actually taking its 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade skills, being able to go all the way to the thousandths place when we're talking about the place and the value of digits, and all the way up to the keep it going millions, billions, trillions, just understanding the pattern that's involved with it. Great song that you can definitely use to help your students, especially if you have students going like, if you're like, okay, which place is this digit in? And they're like, the 10,000s place? And they're not really sure. This is a great way to help them remember, to give them strategies of how to get to whatever the name of that place is. Okay, that is the bronze section, the bronze level of resources. And if you have the silver plan, you have access to everything we just talked about in the bronze section, but you also have access to the silver level of resources, the silver tier. So I'm going to scroll down to right here. All right, so you can see we've got printables, we've got answer keys, and we've got a little video here. And if I scroll down, I see where I can enter into the gold level. We'll get there in a second, especially with those new resources I just dropped in, so hold on tight. I'm gonna go ahead and click on the printables so we can see. Very good. So this is where you can easily just download and print the printables that you'll need for this benchmark. The silver tier of resources is for those teachers that are like, okay, great, I've got video lessons for my students to watch. I want the printables so they can record their notes, but how do I make sure that they actually understand? This is where the silver plan comes in, because yes, you have those printables for the video lessons all in one spot, but if we keep on scrolling, check this out. Oh, we got another video lesson there. But usually right after that video lesson, we have an extra practice page that looks just like what they did in the video lesson. Have your students watch the video lesson in the bronze section, and then you can give them extra practice. This page, they can use their notes that they took from the video lesson to help them to do this on their own. You can see, all right, and then we have a video lesson for the 10 times less. Great, they watched that, they took notes, and now we've got the extra practice page. It looks very similar to what we just did in the video lesson. Okay. Here's another practice page of 10 times greater or less where it says, here's the number. You got a number, and now write a number where the digit 2 is 10 times greater. And then it switches back and forth between 10 times greater, 10 times less, 1/10 of. We're kind of putting everything together in this extra practice page. Okay, another one just like that. Let's make sure that they've really got this. This is a math mission of 10 times greater or less. So basically what we're doing in the bronze and then the extra practice pages is kind of isolating the skills that they need to learn. And these math missions kind of put everything together. It's basically taking the benchmark and saying, okay, what is it that they needed to know? Let's put it together. Let's put it into a real world problem that they can solve. Multi-step work, not just finding 10 times greater or less, but putting it into a real world type of scenario. And finally, we have you can see the little video icon there. This is the Math Misconception Mystery Detective Report. This is page 1 of it. This is the problem that students will solve on their own, and then they will watch as 4 characters solve that same problem. These characters are just me dressed up in silly costumes with silly voices, and 3 of these characters, they make mistakes that students commonly make. That's why it's called Misconception Mystery. 3 characters make mistakes, 1 character solves it correctly, and students get to try to figure out and discuss and decide and justify who's correct and who made the mistake. Then they have this detective report to fill out right here after the video, saying who has the most reasonable answer, and now let's help out the others. What did the character do that was correct? What was their error, and what do they need to know for next time? Again, creating a safe place where mistakes are made and they are just used as learning opportunities to learn and grow. Okay? So that episode is right here. Okay, the misconception mystery, you can definitely full screen it, but let me just kind of pop in right here.
Hey everyone. Wow, this problem was a doozy. So we had to figure out the missing number. And I knew it was a 5-digit number, so I made it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 spaces for a 5-digit number. So there's that clue. The next one says that the 4 right here, the 4 needs to go in the tens place. And then the value of the 8, we learned from this clue that the value of the 8 needs to be in the ones place for this mystery number. From the fourth clue, we learned about the value of the 1 and that it's 10 times greater than the 1 in the number that they gave us. And that's why I put my 1 right there. And what else? Oh yeah, the value of the 3 is 1/10 of this 3, and this 3 has a 3 in the 10,000s place. 1/10 of means it needs to go down a place, so I put it in the thousands place. And then what I did was I squished all the numbers together, and I got 1,348. And that space right here, I don't know what to do with that. I just squished it together. That's okay, right?
Oh, those are so fun to make. Okay, so as you can see, a mistake was made there, and this is a great way for students to discuss what's going on. Now, I definitely encourage you to use these maybe before a unit test, just as a fun way to review what they've learned. That's a great place to put these math misconception mysteries. Students love these. So just fair warning, once you get started with these, they're not going to want to stop. So you've been warned. So again, silver, you get everything in the bronze, which is the video lessons, the printable student guides, and you get all of these extra practice printables to make sure students really understand this benchmark, and the math misconception mystery episode. And then when we scroll down, we get into our gold resources. Okay, so let's talk about the gold. We have a mini assessment. I'll click that so you can see. Got the benchmark there. You're just showing what you know. These are great. Teachers use these a lot of times for a practice test before they take their actual test. So I'll just scroll so you can see. We've got multiple choices. Got to select all. So this is a multi-select. Boom. And then answering it out there. So lots of practice with this benchmark, right? You also have the answer key for that. We have a breaking down the best video right here where you can learn more about that benchmark. You have access to the McCarthy Math 155 portal, the massive library here of video lessons. So let me see for this one, if we were to click in there and go to 4th grade, by the way, the 155, that stands for 155 video lessons for 4th grade. Now, you may have seen the warning here. Not really a warning, but just letting you know, hey, these were created to support the Common Core standards. These are the standards that we used to have in Florida, the MAFs, right? And then we moved to the B.E.S.T standard. So you got to make sure that whatever you're selecting in here, it matches and aligns with the B.E.S.T standards. Let's go see if there is anything. We're in place value, so I'm going to click place value. And so, okay, boom, we've got some 10 times greater or less here. And this is actually creating numbers, not just digits that are 10 times greater or less, but numbers that are 10 times greater or less. And this would be fine to use. Day 2 would be fine to use. It's more practice. If you have students who need help reading and writing numbers, which this kind of goes with 1.2, reading and writing numbers, so we'll get there, but you can just kind of see standard form to word form. That's coming in a different benchmark for the B.E.S.T standard. So I think that might be it. Yeah. Yep. So you can use, sorry, I'm scrolling fast, but you can use in here day 1 and day 2 for a little bit of extra practice. It's not quite as rigorous as the B.E.S.T standards are, but it's still extra practice, especially if you have students struggling there. Massive library. So then, we're almost there. I'm going to scroll down to this. This is the new stuff right here. I'll show you in just a second. But we've got also with the gold plan, you have access to taking on the fast, which is a 15-day countdown prep. It's included with the gold membership. Now, I don't suggest using this resource until you are closer to that final PM3. So like around March or April, as you're preparing, you're in that final push. I have teachers all the time. I was talking with a teacher yesterday and they were like, oh my gosh, Ms. McCarthy, I used the taking on the fast last year and my students, they were one of the highest performing in our district. So great. Thank you so much for creating this. So this is definitely an amazing resource to use later on. I'll show you what it looks like. So you can see here, we've got videos and we've got the printable guides. And I'm gonna open up one of the guides so you can see there are 6, this is day 1. There are 6 questions. We've got a multi-select. Every day you'll have an equation editor, a matching item, an editing task problem, and multiple choice, and my best attempt at what a graphic response item display where you're kind of clicking around looks like. You'll see the benchmark names right there. And it's kind of like a spiral because we're getting into all of the strands, the NSO strand, the AR strand, the FR strand, the GR strand, the M strand, and the DP strand. All of those strands will be highlighted in each day of taking on the fast. So this is a great resource to use. Again, if I keep on scrolling, you'll see you've got so much here with that gold plan. 15 days, you can spread it out, have them work on it one day and check their answers the next day. That's fine too, or you can just really go at it for 15 days, okay? There we go. All right, so that's your taking on the fast. Let me go back to the new stuff that I've just added. So y'all, I have just added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more video lessons. What I did was I looked at those big M1 documents and the updated version, and they gave us some more insight into what this benchmark is calling for and looking for in different ways that it could be assessed or practiced and all of that. So I created these new videos to help you with that. So if we're looking here, let me zoom in. This resource right here is 10 times greater or less using place value blocks. So we're putting in our place value blocks. We're saying what happens when we go one place to the left? What happens when we move one place to the right? And then starting to plug in and create some statements about what's happening in our place value chart using place value blocks. So let me go to just kind of snapshot into a lesson so you can see. So again, we've got videos here. We're talking about the ones period, the thousands period. We're only going to the 1000s for the base 10 blocks. So just showing how the value of 2 over time, look at that. 2 ones, 2 tens, 2 hundreds, 2 thousands. Each time we're increasing 10 times. Each time we're dividing by 10 or getting 10 times smaller if we're going to the right, or 1/10 of. It's just more practice there, okay? Then this one is 10 times greater or less. The next video is 10 times greater or less using a place value chart. Same kind of thing, except we're dropping the place value blocks and looking at just the place value chart. So you can see here, we plugged in some digits, and now we're really taking a look at the digits where I'll get them started saying, hey, let's look at this digit 1 in a certain number. Let's find a digit 1 that's 10 times greater than that digit 1. So again, they have the notes, they copy it down. It's just more practice, especially if you have students struggling with this. Great stuff for intervention or just extra practice. The next video is just saying the clues below describe 4 digits to a mystery number right here. So we're getting some clues about the mystery number. And then we have to create the mystery number. We're annotating again, we're marking up, we're showing that we're moving, all of that stuff. The next video is 10 times greater or less. We're finding the product or the quotient. So we're given an amount and we need that whole amount, not just a singular digit, but the whole amount to get 10 times greater and that whole amount to get 10 times less. Talking about words like product and quotient, which we know students are like, huh? When it comes to learning these things, okay? Then switching it to the 1/10 of down here. I'll show you a little peek into the video. So right now we need to make it 1/10 of or 10 times less. So let's go to the right. So what would that be if we moved everything over to the right? Yeah, we'd have a 5 in the hundreds place and zeros move over too. So there we go. See, again, talking about product, quotient, I'm all about annotating and having students mark it up with me. So there's that one. And I believe there's one more. 10 times greater or less shifting places. So if we have a number and we're being multiplied by 1/10, what's happening to those digits? How many places are they shifting and so on? So let's take a little peek. Being multiplied by 1/10, which means 10 times less, or dividing by 10. That digit 4 is being moved over to the right. So it's going one place to the right. and so on and so forth. So it's just really getting in that vocabulary and skills. So with all of these resources here that you have with the gold plan, they should be able to rock this benchmark, okay? All right, thank you so much for joining me in this walkthrough. I hope that now you're able to see the different tiers and what you'll have access to. I'm gonna let you know right now that most teachers, most schools decide to go with the gold just because there's so much there for you to use. But if you wanna start with the bronze or the silver, you can always upgrade to the gold at any time or downgrade your plan. You just gotta reach out to me and let me know. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer your questions. So definitely check this out. I'm really excited. Oh, and by the way, these Operation Math videos, I'm plugging them in as we go throughout the school year, okay? So I've just uploaded these. I'll be moving on to the next benchmark for 4th grade soon, so be on the lookout, be patient. And while you're waiting for these Operation Math videos to drop into the gold section, just know you have so much. You have all of those video lessons. You have all of the extra practice pages and the math missions and the math misconception mysteries and the mini assessments and the McCarthy Math 155, and you're taking, like, you have so much stuff to get you going. I'm just dropping in even more as we go throughout the school year. So be patient with that. And if you have any questions, let me know. You can learn more. You can see I've got it up there at mccarthymathacademy.com/teacher. You can reach out to me at mccarthymathacademy@gmail.com or contact me on the website. However you need to get in touch with me, I'm here for you. So I'll see you over on the website.